Hello, everyone. Quinn here, and today we're going to talk about how we went from wanting to be like Jesus to wanting to be like the Joker. To be honest, you have seen the transformation over the years, especially in popular media, especially in movies, where we've wanted to be the good guy but end up wanting to understand the bad guy. Now, how does that go exactly? I did a short video on this, but really, I figured that when you're discussing topics like this, you really have to make longer videos as opposed to what we're doing here. So really, that's one of the reasons why I'm making these TCast right now, as it were, because really the psychology of someone like the Joker to Western society is very interesting. But as I went more into Buddhist culture, it really is understandable why we're all drawn to a character like the Joker, especially me, like wanting to be an actor. I studied the Joker as a character for a very long time, and Heath Ledger's performance, God rest his soul, that he did probably the most accurate portrayal of the Joker, and everyone's emulating him and him ever since. But to Western society, the Joker is a phenomenon. But if you were really to study Eastern philosophy, you'd figure out that the Joker actually isn't that unique of a character. You see, in Buddhist culture, you have, as Alan Watts perfectly explained, that you can be bound by either iron chains or you can be bound by gold chains. The iron chains meaning the thoughts and morals of your society, your culture, your religion that you grew up on, because really one of the reasons we can't really move forward in society, because we are really bound by old ancient traditions that are probably based on the household, based on the schools, based on the spiritual practice that your parents or your family or other generational situations may have put upon you. But in Buddhist spirituality, it really isn't that much of a new thing. Because, like I said, you can be bound by the chains of society, or you can be bound by golden chains. Now, the golden chains really mean your own personal morals, all right? Your own personal do's and don'ts, all right? Things like, for example, I say, like, I don't engage in people who are already in relationships, or at least I used to. And in another podcast, I'll explain why I don't, why I've pretty much deviated from that rule, especially in the climate that we're currently living in. Because honestly, if you're not fulfilling your partner's needs, someone else will. And that can happen anytime, anywhere. But back to, of course, the golden chains. The golden chains are your own personal morals. Now, we've been through the iron chains and the golden chains. And in Buddhist religion, the Joker is actually a individual who has pretty much removed all chains. Like Heath Ledger said during the interrogation scene, that the only sensible way to live is without rules, because any chains and all are, in his viewpoint and in the Joker's viewpoint, even in Buddhist religion, is like all chains hold you back. Doesn't matter whether it's your society, doesn't matter when it's your culture, your upbringing, your school, or even your personal morals, which will be confronted. Because that's life. Life is ever changing, and if you don't question your own morals, if you don't question your own actions constantly, whether you're doing good or right, you're not growing, you're not evolving. And the essence of life, as I've come to figure out, is to grow, is to evolve. And whether you're removing all your chains or keeping your chains intact really doesn't matter. As the Joker said, it's like you have, it's like, hey, the sensible way to live is without rules. Now that part may be true, but what the Joker does is being free without consequence. And why does Western society really enjoy living without any consequence? Is because they have been streamlined, all right? They've been manipulated into doing good. The reality is that not a lot of people want to do good. They really only feel morally obligated to do so. And like Alan Watts said, that if you're putting on all forced behavior is phony. Like I said in relationships earlier, a lot of relationships are just based on a facade, are based on phoniness. And the Joker, whether you like it or not, is an individual who has removed all lies, all right, any morality that kept him back, and really confronts people with the truth. That's why a lot of people don't want to accept anyone who displays in the spiritual world known as mirror energy, because mirror energy confronts them on a very deep personal level. I always felt that, I always wondered why I was being rejected, but really people who experience mirror energy, people who are free-spirited, are oftentimes been denounced or really don't want to look back upon it, because just their individual presence, all right, confronts them with the truth. And nobody wants to be confronted with the truth, because that means living their own lie, having to be face to face with their own lie. And a lot of people just can't handle that. And that's a sad thing, because having your morality questioned time and time again until such time where you really learn from that is to grow, as I said, and evolve. And the Joker, just as I said, has removed all chains, but at what cost? A lot of things people don't know that about how the universe works, that everything you want, regardless whether it's for the betterment of yourself or for the betterment around you, whether it's through selfish needs or morally global needs, you are really, the universe watches everything you do, and especially with the intent on which you do it. The Joker is an individual who will confront you with the truth no matter what cost, and will dangle the lie in front of your face. And in Buddhist religion, that would mean when you have freedom without consequence, like I said, everything has a cost. All right, everything has a price, and if you're willing to pay that price, then by all means. But one of the things that people fail to realize about the Joker is that he is a character who will go from 0 to 180 to 360 and back like that. And that means you can either be very free-spirited, because remember, what you put out in the universe, ultimately you'll attract. That's one of the reasons why I want to have my tattoo removed, because even though it has a biohazard sign, in Native American culture, what I'm really doing is inviting toxicity into my life. And if you understand your own patterns, and if you understand where they come from and how the universe works, and that's what I meant with knowing your iron chains and your gold chains, you can choose which one to maintain and which one to remove. But however, if you remove all of them, the chances are you will experience the best of highs. But that also means, that's what I'm talking about, the cost. You will also descend downward spirals very quickly as well. And you can either go very quickly from your highest self to just descending into pure chaos. And even in Indian culture, right? I'm talking about India, not Native American, but like really India, is like Shiva opened his third eye, and like Sadhguru said, you can either choose to burn the whole existence if you want to, and you can try and see everything clearly. And that shit's gonna happen all at once when you enter the mindset of the Joker. When you enter that state of mind that a lot of people in Western society seems to be attracted to, and often or not, you wonder to yourself, at least a lot of people wondered, like, why are people so obsessed with the mind state of the Joker? Well, this goes back into Western society and how we really view good and evil. Because in Western society, we really have a very distorted view of what good and evil is. One of the reasons why I love The Hunchback of Notre Dame is because that pretty much is confronted. It basically denounced the viewpoint, the Western societal viewpoint of good and evil in one click. Is that we look for evil everywhere except within. Alright? The Joker has been through that mindset. He was confronted by his own evil and decided, I accept all of them, and no chains are going to hold me back. This is one of the things about the dark side of spirituality, or when people enter a spiritual practice because they want to seek enlightenment. A lot of people don't realize that these are one of the many costs that come with trying to find spiritual enlightenment. And unless you're really prepared to fully accept the consequences that come with that search, that is why when you look for spiritual enlightenment, you have to be very clear what your intent is. And in my situation, I was really forced into that. In a way, yes or no, but I was forced to be confronted on an early age with, who am I? What is my purpose here? How am I to go about this? And the Joker really is an individual who asked himself all those questions and decided to go for chaos. Not because he's really evil. Because the Joker treats everything like a game. Life, however, is a game. But like I said, the Joker treats life like a video game. As in, he does all the destruction, just like with Shiva. You can open your third eye and just burn the whole existence if you want. Or choose to see everything clearly. The Joker, he saw society for everything it stood for the reality of the situation, and especially in Western society, you see the Joker clearly confronts Western society because Western society is hypocritical, especially when it comes to how we see good and evil. Because, like said in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, we see evil everywhere except within. And really, Carl Gustav Jung, who also asked himself these fundamental questions, especially when entering into psychology, is that really the dark night of the soul is within ourselves. Even in Native American culture, like you have the white wolf and the black wolf. You have your highest self and then you have your lower self. Which one do you decide to feed? And the Joker is a character, an individual who decided, I'm not going to feed neither. I'm not going to give any one of it, because depending on my environment, it's usually our environment also that depends what our moral code should be. And like I said, the Joker is one individual who has removed that out of the equation. He has removed himself from all responsibility, from all mental blocks, whether it be his own personal ones or his own or that of his environment. Even if you look at the different backstories, they all, especially in the Dark Knight, whether is he give these different backstories about how he got the scars, right? Because he understands that you can basically tell any narrative. Alright, you can pretty much convince yourself that any thought you put into your brain is a reality. and you can accept that given reality. And the Joker is an individual who, with mirror energy, because once you're freed yourself from all constraints, you are experiencing an individual who is mirror energy, but one who is so chaotic and so aggressive about confronting you with that truth, regardless of whether you want to see it or not. And Western society, part of the reason we're in the state we're in right now is because they do not want to see the truth and do whatever they can to deny themselves the truth. That the real villain within an individual personality, more often than not, is found within the individual rather than outside of the individual. There's a reason why in the Bible they say everything outside of you is bad. It really isn't. It's more that your perception of what is good or evil has been distorted in such a way. And it's not really done purposefully. It really is, what is your individual perception of good and evil. Alright? The Joker, regardless of whether you want to believe it or not, is not an evil character. And the reason why Western society is really obsessed, alright, with characters like the Joker is the fundamental fact that people are tired of wanting to be good because they have to be good. See, that's what a lot of things like the Bible and especially the laws in Western society, seeing how hypocritical it is, all right, and knowing that, why should I be good because I have to be good? You should want to be good because you want to be good, all right. You want to be a better human being, whether it be for the people around you or for yourself. If you really get into asking yourself these questions, it is more not better to do it for yourself. Because ultimately, if you cannot accept yourself, the good, the bad, the great, and the horrible, who else would accept you? And really, the journey within is the only way you're ever going to fundamentally find out who that is. The Joker is someone who went through that journey but saw it in a completely dark way. Because you can be in that mind state and be a more positive version of society. The only problem is Western society has such a narrow and incomplete view of what good and evil actually is, that really it is not surprising at all that they would be attracted to a chaotic individual like the Joker. And truth is often stranger than fiction. That a lot of people may feel like the Joker is a fictitious character, but in reality, a lot more people have started to develop this mindset because they realize that society as a whole is highly hypocritical. It contradicts himself all the time. That is from the way we read the Bible versus how we practice the Bible in real life. That is from how Western society claims to have a justice system that is equal to all, but when put into practice constantly, does let's just say, do the right thing for their own benefit and not for the benefit of justice. Justice is blind, but in reality, the fact is that real justice is hardly ever found. That's why we still have pedophiles in the Vatican. That's why they still hide a pedophile in the royal family, the Prince Andrew stuff. The Joker is an individual who sees through that and really decides that I don't care if I have to destroy the whole world. I will make sure the people of this world see their world for what it really is. and that is a giant, hypocritical, two-faced shit show. And it's funny I mentioned two-faced because there is an individual who believed wholeheartedly in what real justice was, and regardless of whichever part of the story you listen to, he was confronted with that truth as well. The Joker is someone who actively confronts you with it, and whether it be manipulation or a Buddhist form of questioning yourself, who you really are and what your stance and what your beliefs are. The Joker confronts you with that in a very aggressive way, as to a Buddhist would really listen and would feed you questions, not necessarily in a way to manipulate you, but in a way to make you question yourself and your own actions, because more often than not, a lot of people really don't. And they either use an excuse such, I can't find the time, but really, especially during COVID, when confronted with your own personal truth, the other side is also true. And that side might scare the living shit out of you, or of the people around you. And as someone who has studied that character and practically almost lived that character a couple of times, because especially having the background I have, and feeling like no matter what you do, you never fit in, or you're typed an outcast, or you're typed a weird individual according to your environment. And a lot of times you get confronted with that, and you really ask yourself, like, am I crazy, or is the world around me crazy, or and am I the only sane one? But I've had my own morals confronted plenty of times, and enough times to know that really, do right by you and do right by others. But don't ever let one confuse or collide with the other one. Because if you can do right for others and not do right by yourself, or vice versa, that means there's something wrong with, our not only psychological but also our moral way of thinking. And if anything COVID has really done is confronted for a lot of individuals that, hey, how are we living our lives? And how are we thinking? And is our thinking sound? Is the way we've been thinking something that really is for the right reasons? Is it for something bigger than ourselves, or is it just for selfish needs? See, these are a lot of questions we really don't ask ourselves, and individuals like the Joker, they really confront you with those questions in a very aggressive way. You can kind of look at COVID as in being its own Joker, putting people in such a place where really you get confronted with your own personal belief systems. And whether you believe them to be true or not, the other side is also very true. And Western civilization's obsession with the Joker shows a lot about where Western society's true intentions lie. Eventually, their incomplete way of thinking has always led to this point of destruction and chaos, whether of their own individual self or whether that of the others. When seeking destruction or control over our situation because we desperately have lost all of the chains that kept us grounded, that kept us who we were, or kept us who we thought we were. COVID has brought about a lot of changes and aggressive confrontations as to the situation that we find ourselves in. If you're asking why I'm twitching my head so much, is like I said, the spiritual journey has brought a lot of changes. And like I said, why I'm doing this now is to hopefully inform you and help you all on your spiritual journey. I have paid a high price for where I'm at today, and why I'm doing this is to hope for all of you that you wouldn't have to dig as deep as I had to, because had it not been for the grace of Allah, for Mother Earth and the universe, I would not be here right now. But my sole mission is to help you all confront in an easy way the issues of the mind and also your spirit. Because no matter what you believe in, it's all connected. Your mind, your body, and your spirit. And don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. An awakening is coming, people. Be ready for great change. We can have a very great future on our hands. But we gotta heal ourselves from the traumas of the past. And really come to terms with who we are as people. And in order to find out where your stance is on society, where your stance is, your purpose, your individual self, you gotta look within. There lies the answer. Spirituality is a great tool to help us figure that out. But you can only go so far. And really, to connect the dots, because all forms of spirituality is connected, and regardless of what your spiritual, cultural, psychological background, we all have the ability to make great change happen right now. But we can only do this together. If we do what we are supposed to do right now, we can bring changes upon this globe faster than any other species has ever done. We have all the tools we need right here, right now. Until next time, people, have a good day.